Yeah. I paused it. I shut it off.
Yeah, I muted you first. Hi, YouTube. Welcome. I don't know who's hosting. Am I hosting? Let me host. Is that cool?
Okay.
Because I already
let Logan host.
The people have spoken. Let Logan Paul host.
I got my LaCroix here.
LaCroix.
I've actually never tried this, so we'll
Is that
do
like
we'll
It
do
is
a-
water essence.
carbonated the shoe?
yeah,
LaCroix?
we'll do carbonated juice. We'll do a live food review on this podcast. You guys good?
Yeah.
I was born ready. Got my bottle here. There you go.
Fuck yeah, I can't wait for Max to get fucking drunk again.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 28. Yeah, it's 28 of the Model Citizen Show. I am.
Don't you mean episode 2049?
No, we were close, but
We're nowhere near. No.
I'm your host Logan Moore. With me this week is Max, making bad jokes already. Michael's here, he's kind of drunk, and Mario's here as well.
Huh?
He looks cute.
What?
Michael's back. He missed like 2 episodes in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Who's
not
this
dead.
Michael guy?
I don't know who I am. Who am
Michael-
I?
Michael, I missed you.
Did you? I don't
I
think
did.
anybody did.
I missed your voice.
I feel like everybody.
We were
was-
lost last week. I don't know if you heard last week, but we were.
No,
Yeah, last week was really bad. Like super bad.
It was rough. It was a rough ride.
I haven't listened to any of the two. Amber has.
Oh no. Oh yeah.
Yeah. She always says good things about the podcast, so she liked it.
I think it's just because she knows us. The best feedback we get from people are those who know us. I'm curious what people who just stumble across this garbage.
Yeah, so
like,
leave your reviews on iTunes and stuff, and
Yeah.
tell us what you think.
leave honest reviews. There's also comments on the website, I think, as well.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
are.
there is.
Yeah, there are.
Leave a comment in there and let us know if you think this is total trash, which it probably is.
Yeah, it's probably pretty bad. Yeah.
We're recording late this week. This is Saturday. Hi, welcome to the weekend. Everybody's working towards it,
Dude,
or working for it. Is it working for? Yeah, working for the
I got-
weekend.
I've been-
the weekend. Yeah.
I've been gone for like 2 weeks, but do I have some tales to tell?
Yeah,
you do.
we need to hear about WWE, your
Yeah.
WWE trip as
Now,
well.
this is the one time where like the WWE thing is actually a legitimate thing that I, want to talk about.
I had it pre-show last week. I said, man, and I was gonna let Logan and Michael talk wrestling the whole show. That privilege has been revoked.
And Michael didn't show up. Yeah, because he
Yeah.
fell asleep in his chair like an old man or something.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Dude, I'm getting real tired real quick all the time now.
Well, you had just traveled that. Yeah, that was the day you had come back home.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
that's what I got back home. Yeah.
That's what I thought. So you were
Baby
sleeping, boy. I'm going to Raw Monday as well. So we
Dude,
can
I'm
totally talk
so-
about wrestling next week as well. I wish you could
Yeah.
have come. That would have been fun.
Yeah, I wanted to, but yeah, I have to work at like 4:00 in the morning. So
So I don't know if I told you this when I called you over the phone. Quick wrestling aside, before we get into more wrestling stuff, I'm sure later on. Because the Shield's probably getting back together this week. I told my dad when we were buying tickets, I was like, we have to get some that are by the ramps. We have to buy tickets by the ramps in case they walk down. So we bought our tickets. We're in like we're next to one of the ramps that they usually walk down. And,
Yeah.
while I doubt they come down they probably won't come down like that until the pay-per-view. If I had to imagine, they'll probably this week just put their fists together or something stupid, and that'll be the end of Raw.
Yeah.
But I was like totally scheming about where we purchased our tickets. And we've got good seats. Like we're in the lower level. We're like 10 rows away from the ring. Actually. So
damn, dude,
Solid.
that's
it's
awesome.
It's not too bad. So
Yeah.
looking forward to it.
Sound raw.
Good one, Max. Full of the jokes. Let's get into. We actually have a specific topic of sorts. Blade Runner's out. We saw that movie. We've been talking about that movie for like a couple months on this show. We have like an entire episode centered around it.
Yeah.
We all saw it, so we're going to talk about it. And spoilers, I'm sure, will come up, but we'll give you a heads up.
Yeah, we'll say something. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we should give our general opinions and then just a giant section.
Okay, so general opinions. It's a good movie.
It was a good ass movie.
Yeah, that's a
Real good movie.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
Yes. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, fuck, I think I love that movie.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, Michael, I specifically want to hear from you because you like this was like your Star Wars, I guess.
And,
Star Wars.
Yeah.
nerd.
It's more than Star Wars.
It's your Phantom Menace.
Yeah, it's my Yes, it is.
Kind of.
Except like the good version of that, like the good
Yeah.
scenario, not the bad
So
scenario.
it's the Force Awakens.
Force
then?
Awakens.
Yeah,
It's
the Force Awakens.
It's the Force Awakens.
Yeah, I really liked it a lot, and what I like about it is that it's a sequel, but it's not. You know,
Mhm.
I don't know how to say it, but
It's definitely a sequel.
it's definitely a sequel.
It's-
But like,
yes.
it could stand on its own for sure. Like, you
I
could
agree.
totally watch that and not really know anything about Blade Runner. I feel it's just that when you watch Blade Runner, you totally like you get all the
I,
references. and stuff like
I
that.
agree with that. I don't think you need to watch the first one to
Yeah, the
enjoy this movie at all.
actual like plot, if you separate from people that are involved in it, it could totally work by itself.
Yeah,
For sure.
They give you enough summary
For
at the
sure.
beginning where they give you that wall of text, which I thought I was
Yeah.
like, oh boy, oh
Well,
boy.
You don't even, yeah, you can really piece it together because what
It's
the
pretty
plot centers
straightforward.
around is characters from the past movie, yes, but their roles don't really have to do. Like Deckard's involved, but it's not like, hey, remember when I hunted those?
Remember when
Yeah,
I rubbed
that's right.
chopsticks together?
Yeah,
Deckard
remember,
didn't. Yeah,
remember when I
Deckard
hunted those robots down in the last movie? Like, it doesn't bring up anything like that. The only thing you need to know is his relationship with Rachel, and
Yeah,
that's and even then, it's just kind of like, oh, I had a relationship with what the freak are they called? The robots.
Nexus 6 or
Nexus
7?
6. They
What
were
are they-
6.
What are they?
She was a prototype, wasn't she?
Replicants.
Thank you.
Replicants, sorry.
There we go. That was, I knew it was like an R word, and I was like, but what is it? Yeah. All you need to know is that he had a relationship with a replicant.
Yeah.
He had a relationship with a Republican. I know you were trying to say.
Republican. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say.
And now we are going to
She
talk
did wear
about the hard
pantsuit.
right.
The thing that really stood out to me though, like with it being its own sequel or whatever, where it doesn't really need to stand on the where it kind of stands on its own is as I was watching it, the movie, I checked my phone and the movie was like 2 hours in and Harrison Ford still hadn't showed up. And I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh shoot,
Yeah.
this movie has gone on for quite a long time. And
Yeah.
Did you feel that?
isn't even in it. I didn't no.
Yeah.
Ryan
I-
Gosling is awesome in that movie, and he
I agree.
totally steals the spotlight away
And
from
let's
Harrison
not
Ford.
say why, but yeah, his
No, it
performance
was-
is really
I agree. I did notice it though because all the commercials I had seen all show Harrison Ford. in it.
That's
and I was like, man, he is not in this yet. Where is he? Like, when does he show up?
dude, but
and I think
honestly,
they handled it well. Like, they didn't need him. It's just all the ads
Yeah.
show him.
Well, of
I'm
course,
like-
because
I was
he's
like,
I mean,
He's
yeah,
the biggest name,
yeah.
but it's just like, huh?
honestly, I think the people who would be noticing are people who like really, really love that movie or even have
Mhm.
seen the movie because they're like, oh, he has to be in this at some point. He has
Mhm.
to be in this at some point. I mean, other than the ad
well,
showing.
as the plot goes on, it's like, okay, eventually, yes, they have to see him eventually. And
Yeah.
it just so happens he's later in the film. I don't want to say when in the movie he is, but he's much later in the film.
Yeah.
I've already
And-
kind of said he doesn't show up till the final act.
And
really, but-
I will say that like I feel like his performance in this has been better than any movie he's done. Like
Recently, he's awake.
recently.
He's
like-
woke.
Like it felt like he actually was trying to act rather than like just be himself in fucking Star Wars or whatever the hell else he's in.
Yeah, sure.
You know? Like it didn't feel forced or anything like that.
the Star Wars
Force.
joke.
This is where he was awake.
He was really
And then he
good.
was
Well,
forced to be awake in Force Awakens.
because he had to play the role of grumpy old man in this movie for the most part, which is kind of
Yeah.
what it is now.
Yeah, and
Kind of
you
like,
know what?
kind of like Clint Eastwood in Gran Torino. Like, get off my lawn.
Yeah.
he's kind of
I
reached
mean,
that stage of his career.
He was playing an old version of Deckard, which Deckard himself was like a grumpy old man in a way. So like
Yeah.
you know, like I felt like he played the character and he didn't play just himself like how he usually does. Because I feel like nowadays he just plays himself and he just plays Harrison Ford as this person, not
Yeah,
you know, like I don't know, whatever the fuck Star Wars shit and whatever else he plays.
Solo.
Han Solo. I couldn't remember his name.
you're a slut.
You're
Um,
a huge slut.
Fuck.
Fucking-
I've never, I mean, this is kind of straying away from 2049 a little bit, but I've never even really cared for Deckard that much as a character. Like,
Mhm.
I think he's there's not a lot of nuance and complexity to his character. He's just kind of the catalyst for the plot. I've always felt like with Blade Runner.
Yeah.
True. And they kind of show it honestly in the movie. Like he kind of mentions it. I mean, we'll get into that later. We'll say that piece later. But
in terms of the first movie, you're right. He's like going along the plot, but you really kind of are following Rutger Hauer for the most part. You know, you kind of care about his plight. In this movie, they do differently with Ryan Gosling's character. It's like, oh, I'm actually feeling something.
Yeah,
I want him to succeed in the way that I want him to.
Yeah,
and then the results of the movie, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
But I actually cared about the main, which is Ryan Gosling in this situation.
I really liked what they did too, because I was noticing similarities to Blade Runner, but they were like reversing roles of certain things, which I mean, if we want to get into spoilers, I can explain further what I mean. But like, I was noticing like, oh, they did that in Blade Runner. They did that in the original Blade Runner as well, but here they're doing it, but it's different. And like Ryan Gosling's in the opposite position that like Deckard was in.
Yeah.
First movie and stuff like that. And I thought that was cool personally.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That like, there was a question I think I had posed when we first talked about this on this podcast. Like what ending were they going to take and everything like that? Like,
from the original.
Who was Officer, like, what's Officer K? Who's he going to be? And like, what's Deckard? And, is he a replicant?
Yes.
'Cause that's, and all that stuff. And that pretty much gets answered.
I want to talk about that. Actually,
they still have a good job of like
get
it could
to
be
spoil.
one or it could be the other. But
Yeah.
I mean, we'll talk about it for sure in this.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Because I need clarity.
Yeah,
I don't think there is.
There
isn't.
One of the things.
I need Michael's opinion. Michael's opinion is clarity to me.
Well, that was the thing I would like expected them to just come out and outright say at some point in this movie,
like they do in the beginning of the movie, right?
A human or Harrison Ford is a replicant, but they don't, and I'm still like, what?
I don't know.
They still fuck with you.
Yeah, because that. Never mind. We'll get into that part.
All right.
In a second.
All right. So, okay, Mike, you love it.
Oh yeah.
Is it better than the first one?
No, but I love
better
it.
than the first one.
No, I'm really biased towards like Final Cut. Like that movie to me.
Or do you like the standard? Which one?
Final Cut, dude. Final Cut's the way to go, and it's. I think this movie, like, and the one last thing I want to say without spoiler kind of thing is like, shot for shot, like this movie is such a beautiful movie.
Oh my god, yes.
Like every scene is like
if you
picture worthy. It's
if
like
you pause the movie, that's a wallpaper.
Yeah, like it's beautiful every scene, and that's something that, in a way, I think I take away from the first one, from from Blade Runner, the original one, is like I feel like that movie too is like every scene. I watched it 2 days ago, like right before I watched the new one in Dolby Cinema, which is another whole experience. But yeah, like I was watching it, and I was like, man, like every single scene is like this beautiful looking thing that could be wallpaper, like on your whatever.
And I think that was like the one like positive that we all took away from the trailers. We're like, I don't know how this plot's really gonna shake down. I'm kind of hesitant about that, but it looks real pretty and
super pretty.
Yeah, and
there's even like
really held up.
Some of the shots, like in the movie, especially in the later half, I don't want to say where, but there's like statues, and there's a shot of like Ryan Gosling in the middle, and it reminded me of like Stanley Kubrick's A Clockwork Orange for a hot second. Yeah, and I was like, this looks super good.
Yeah. But yeah, like every single thing, like whatever, Officer K, that's Ryan Gosling's character, could be like fucking jerking off in a toilet and it'll look awesome.
It would look great. It would be a great shot of him jerking
off in a toilet. Maybe in the final cut though.
Yeah, maybe in the final cut. That might happen. But
I was ask, how many versions of this movie will there be?
I have that'd be a great spoiler. Damn, I gotta talk about that later.
Okay, all right, let's get into it because we've already kind of tiptoed around it. I think.
All right, so if you're watching live,
I mean, I guess the last final thing we can say before we get into spoiler stuff is like, I guess the one last thing I'll ask you guys, which we kind of mentioned up front, but like, this is way better than it had any right being. Like, in your wildest dreams of like, we've been in this like weird flux of like, is this gonna be good or not? I don't know. Blade Runner doesn't need a sequel, and then like we see this, it's like Blade Runner really needed a sequel. This was great. Like,
but I tell you what though, I don't want another Blade Runner, dude.
Guess what? No. You might not.
Yeah,
that final shot is like
you might not.
Perfect.
Yeah. The final thing, like, I don't need Blade Runner. Like
No, they
this
totally
is
set it
perfect.
up. They totally fucking set it up in the middle of that movie too.
They did. I don't want it though. I just leave it. It's
They
fine.
totally do.
It's fine.
What are you talking about?
They set up a sequel in the middle of the movie.
Yeah, they.
No, the
they
characters
totally-
they introduce randomly, and they never. Yeah, the characters they introduce, and you never see them again. We'll talk about that right now.
Yeah, spoilers now because I actually don't.
Yeah.
What?
If you're off, if you're in the chat, leave now. Okay. So when Kay gets basically rescued by the chick that he banged, they just introduce a whole like subset of like replicants that want to uprise, and so it's like they never go back to that because that's the sequel.
So that's something that. So that was something that was weird. Was like I was watching that, and I feel like Officer K kind of just gave him the "fuck you" and said like, because he saves Deckard and is like, hey,
yeah,
you know what, you died.
Well,
and now you could go see your daughter because they wanted them to kill. They wanted him to kill Deckard.
Yes.
I don't get what
They
reason
thought
they wanted.
Deckard would rat him out, or
Squeal.
he would
Exactly. That's exactly.
He's
why.
the only connection to figuring out
Frieza.
where they are. It was Batista, Rachel, and him, and I think they're the only three people that can lead back to that group.
Yeah, which is played by a girl named Frieza from
and-
Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Deckard's like the only person that can
Exactly
give away that information.
So they wanted to kill Deckard, and then he's like, "Yeah, you died, but now you could just go see your daughter." And
Exactly.
And then that's how it ends, pretty much.
All right.
And then
Okay, well, let's start with the first spoiler of the movie. You learn in the first 5 minutes that Ryan Gosling's a fucking replicant.
yeah, and I was like, "Well, okay, that answered." Like I felt
really
like that.
quick.
I honestly thought that was going to be the basis of the movie, and in a way, it is.
It is. Like, you think, well, that's the cool fucking subversion, right? The whole movie's a subversion. You think the whole movie we're going to find out, oh, you're not a human. You're actually a replicant. No, you learn in the first 5 minutes. The second, like, subversion's like, clearly they're setting it up. He's going to be fucking his son the whole fucking movie. And you're like, great. Okay, we know what's going on. And then you're like, nah, fuck you, dude.
It's just some random fucking girl who makes dreams. I'm like, what the fuck?
But that was good. That was a really good thing.
That was cool. Because then, like, it's so heartbreaking when he finds out that he's not possibly this new thing or human or whatever. He doesn't have a soul. And that all the memories that are not his, like, oh, it was so fucking good.
Yeah, dude, because he flips out when
the
he finds
fuck
that
out
horse.
twice.
Yeah, he loses his mind when he finds that horse in the furnace.
Oh my god, that scene was chilling as fuck too. Even though he was like, okay, clearly this is what they're setting up, but then you find out later, it's like, oh fuck me.
I also love that they used the horse because of like how Deckard, his thing
unicorn.
was the horse and unicorn and stuff. I thought that was a really cool.
Yeah,
I felt like that was like a weird homage to it. So
yeah, for sure.
But yeah, like I don't know, man. Like that whole thing when I found out Kay was a replicant, I'm like, really? Like Kay's like that's what it
and
is.
His name's a serial number.
Yeah, because like right when they started like bashing his head into fucking what with Batista just bashes his head, I'm like, well, he's a fucking replicant. Obviously, he can't take that hit. He'd be dead.
And then later in the movie, he like fucking Harrison Ford's running, and then Ryan Gosling just bursts through a wall.
Yeah.
I was like, this is fucking dope.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff. I don't even know where to start.
Let's start at the beginning. Let's start with the plot. Go ahead, William. Go ahead, Max.
I was just gonna say I want to know what you guys think if Deckard is a human or a replicant.
Oh, okay. So
because I think he's a human.
He could be either or.
I think he could be either or. I think he's a human.
I think he's a human, and I think that he had sex with the replicant lady. What's her name?
He does.
Rachel. Yeah, Rachel, and then she's the miracle that Batista referred to.
Here's my question.
I just love how his canonical name is Batista.
Batista. And not
Zapper,
like, what was it?
Drax.
Zapper what? Zapper
It's
something?
Zapper. I can't
Zapper
remember. It's
Wilmer or some shit?
it's
Kaylee
Zapper
Wilmer? I'm not
Wasn't
sure.
that like the original opening of Blade Runner 1 as well, but they like scrapped that opening or something like that? I know there was like storyboarded stuff for the original Blade Runner where like Deckard kills a replicant while he's like cooking soup or something like that. I'm pretty sure that's like an homage to those early storyboards.
That's interesting. Well, essentially, how can I say this? So, fuck. Oh,
Is he a replicant? Is he a replicant?
Oh, is he a replicant?
Okay, so the only reason
there's a scene, right?
Several scenes.
I think there's a specific scene that addresses it, and it's when he's talking to Jared Leto with white eyes, white-eyed Jared Leto.
for sure.
Yo,
So that was
Jared
Jared Leto. Okay.
Yo,
Well,
Jared
I
Leto
can't see.
blows in this movie. I
didn't
not
think so.
like.
I actually liked
do
him.
Not like Jared Leto. I just
I mean,
don't like Jared Leto. Period.
Okay.
I didn't like this I didn't like that character.
If you compare it to, I think if you compare it to like all the performances that are in this, like Ryan Gosling does a fucking amazing job. I
Yes,
thought
he
he was amazing in it.
Yes.
Yeah. I
And Harrison Ford again, like is way better than I expected him to be in this movie.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I think I wouldn't say he has a poor performance, but
That's-
in comparison to
Compared to everyone else.
Ryan Gosling, I think Ryan Gosling did.
I feel like he was much more a replicant than anybody else in the movie.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes.
But but Harrison Ford's like scene where he's exactly what you're talking about, where he's talking to him
where
and
he's
his
talking to
emotion,
him.
where he's like, "I know what's real."
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a moment where he's like, where Wallace, who is
Jared
Jared
Leto.
Leto's character, and he
Yes.
says like, "Oh, how do you know?" He basically says, "How do you know you weren't set up to do
Meet
this?
Rachel. Yeah.
like, to meet Rachel and do all these things. Like, how do you know this wasn't like this scenario? Like, this was all planned, and all this stuff." And then he says something about like, you being programmed to do that or something
Yeah.
like that. And I was like,
And then
Huh.
and then he's like, "Well, maybe or not."
or not. I'm like, what?
Or not. And then the other one is when we see. By the way, it got spoiled for me. Fucking thanks a lot, TV, for James Edward Olmos.
Oh, I didn't see
there's-
that. So when I saw it, I'm like, I knew he had to be in it. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way he wasn't going to be in it. So I
Yeah.
loved that he was in it when
Yeah,
when I
and he
saw
has
it.
that great line where he's like, "It's under his eye" or some shit.
Yeah,
I was like, "That's fucking funny too."
yeah. So
They keep
I don't
fucking
know.
with us.
but yeah, I think he's.
Oh,
I personally think that he's a human though. Like I
Here-
don't
here
think
was
he's
my
a
question. Here was my question. What is the sperm count on replicants? Do they have high sperm count? Do they have sperm?
So here's the thing that
Can you-
I've been thinking. So
I don't understand how replicants
Rachel-
work at
so-
all. Anyway.
So Rachel was a prototype. She was not
Okay.
I think she was a Nexus. I don't know if she was a Nexus 6 and then like some sort of prototype.
Because they say that like constantly in the movie, don't they? Like, oh, just Rachel,
In-
she's special. They
in
like
the-
constantly refer to her as like being special or something like
In
that.
the first movie, Tyrell mentions her as like a prototype. She's a prototype. Like
Okay.
after they do the test, the Voight Comp test. And I'm trying to remember everything because I watched it literally 2 days ago.
You watched
Well, yeah,
it today.
So she doesn't have like a
no,
identification.
the original.
Access.
yeah,
okay.
and she's not a Nexus 6 because Nexus 6 have a 4-year lifespan,
Mhm.
but she did only last for
A few
2
years.
2021.
So
is when she
2019 is
dies?
2019 is when Blade Runner start. So it's 2 years after.
So she's
they-
dead by 21. Yeah.
So they banged real quick.
Real quick. Which I mean they do in the movie, don't they?
Yeah. He gets
they
all
have s-
rapey.
Yeah, they get rapey and weird, and they have that really good song with the saxophone. But
Great. That's
Yeah.
that's lovely.
I don't think she's actually any sort of Nexus program. I think she's something that Tyrell made personally because he also puts his niece's memories in her.
Interesting.
Wallace also refers to something like how Tyrell had figured it out, obviously, but
Yeah.
it-
Yeah,
to
that he
his
figured it-
grief with him.
Yeah, and Rachel is that.
So then what is the
Replicant.
point of like, okay, sure, that replicants can produce, but then what does that mean for the replicants that are around now? Like,
Honestly,
What does
the
that
idea is that Rachel was the key to figure out
to
how
figuring it
to
out?
how to do that.
so you're
And the
saying,
only-
okay.
So
And-
your memory lady would obviously,
So yeah,
be
she's
the
she's the missing link to figuring out.
which her whole medical condition thing is obviously total BS. And
Yes, has to be.
the one-eyed underground
Friesen
uprising lady
Yeah.
clearly put her there to keep her safe.
Yes.
And they were like, "Oh, I got a disease. I can't leave this room," and that's how they get away with like keeping her safe or whatever.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's true. That makes sense.
So it's a way to keep her like out in the open with
Yeah.
her like doing a normal everyday thing, or I guess she's not normal,
Or-
since she's really the only one who does that. But
Technically, that's just a theory, right? That's not legit text in the movie.
no, but like that's what I was
Yeah.
Could you say
inferring
that-
from it.
Even though,
Theoretically, that their daughter is the only like hybrid human
Hyperhuman replicant.
Replicant.
Yeah.
That's how I took
alien
it.
and a predator mixed together. Got it.
Yes.
But what if she does have a disease and she is that, but she has a disease? Could that also be possible?
I mean, sure, but
that would suck.
yeah, but
they're supposed to be superior, right?
She's still the miracle or the proof of whatever that.
No, I agree.
They could probably that's the thing is that
and it makes her fragile, essentially.
That's the thing is that the replicants would want her to then probably create others like her, so that they could then procreate naturally.
Yeah, they would.
Whereas Wallace.
Well, it also.
I don't know. Would Wallace?
It also proves. It also proves that the replicants are more than just a machine.
Yeah,
they can have a soul and fall in love, which is kind of the whole.
Well, that's why
point of the movie. Like it's proof that they're alive. It's not that they're just robots. It's kind of like Detroit become human.
It's kind of like Blade Runner, actually.
Yeah, it's kind of like Blade Runner.
That's like my favorite. I like almost laughed though, because we really didn't know the plot of the movie. Like the trailer was super obtuse, and it's super like, oh, this looks pretty, but I don't know what's happening.
Did we break down what the plot is yet, or we just said babies?
No, I mean, I think we've hinted at it, but I love how Blade Runner, the original one's like, what if robots had a soul, and this one's like, what if robots could have a baby? It's like, whoa, what?
or can create life. Let's say it nicely. What if they can create life itself?
Yeah, and it's like, whoa, okay, I'm totally down for where this is going.
Yes, and you find out that it was more John Young's character, which is cool, that birthed the baby with Deckard.
Yeah.
I thought it was more about, can robots fall in love? Are they more than just machines?
Well, yeah,
that's already proven throughout the movie, though. Like, there's robots banging.
That is
throughout already. They just can't procreate from it.
I think it goes. I think I understand where Max is going in the sense of like, the movie is about they talk about being more human than human. That was Tyrell's motto, actually, like that he said like in the first movie, and like they're trying to figure out if they can be human, and they kind of go throughout the entire movie, especially with like the whole cop angle thing that they were doing with Kay and I forgot what his chief
Madam
was. Yeah, we'll call her Madam.
That's what he calls her.
We'll call her President Robin Wright.
President Underwood.
Jenna.
Yeah.
Jenna.
Well, Jenna, when she was there or whatever, like I don't know, it's just weird. Like she would say how he wouldn't have a soul and all that stuff like that.
Well, she's the Force just trying to stop this at all costs because it will change reality as they know it.
Yeah.
That's her whole purpose. What?
Hold on. Is Robin Wright Jenny in Forrest Gump?
Yeah. Did we just blow your fucking mind?
What?
Yes.
That was like her breakout role.
After Princess Bride, she's Jenny.
That is not her?
Yes. You've seen her ass crack. Yes, that's her.
It's like her 30 years ago, almost 25, I guess.
I only know her as Claire Underwood.
No, that's
what?
You ever see the movie Toys? She's in that too.
She's in Wonder Woman earlier this year as well.
Yeah, you remember that?
Yeah, like she's in Wonder Woman.
I still haven't seen Wonder Woman.
Jenny?
She's Jenna.
Yeah. Welcome to 2017, Max.
Now I have to see. Oh my God, it is her.
Did you also know that Haley Joel Osment's in Forrest Gump?
He is?
Yeah.
He sees dead people.
He sees dead people in that movie. He sees a dead Jenny.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Anyways, back to topic.
What was I going to say?
About her whole deal, or like why Robin Wright was in the movie? Her character? What was her whole purpose?
What was her purpose? To keep that under wraps, because she knew if that got out, humans would spaz out, and humans would, I don't know, it's a multi-layered thing. Like when she talked about it being a bomb going off, that's exactly what it'd be. Because you'd have all the replicants.
Because it would change.
You'd have all the replicants who would realize that it validates themselves as almost on par with humans.
Yeah.
Now,
they would be on par with humans.
You would have humans freaking out and in turn wanting to shut down all replicants because of the ramifications of what that means. They can't control them anymore, and they can be their own species just about. Mm-hmm. Even though they're humans still, or modeled after humans still technically, I don't know. And then you would have Wallace, who would be wanting to I don't know. See, that was the question I kept coming back to. Is like, what would he do with it? Was he going to want to then mass?
He was going to use it
for profit.
Yeah, he was gonna create them. He was gonna build a whole line of them that could reproduce and build more machines because he couldn't build them fast enough. He wants to make more money and go
that's
all about world and build more communities and other planets and stuff.
Yeah, I guess the off-world stuff is something I forget about a lot because they mention it in both movies, but you don't really.
They never go off-world.
Yeah, it's only ever LA. Where I guess
they did a lot of traveling in this movie, though, didn't they?
Yeah, there was a lot of weird stuff in this movie.
What was your favorite location?
Vegas was cool.
Vegas was the coolest one.
I thought that looked really cool. I liked when he
was Vegas with Deckard.
All orange.
Ford was. Deckard.
Yeah.
I love that San Diego's like a fucking dump.
I really liked when he was flying into Vegas with his little robot thing, and he was saying like, "Go to 7, go to 6, blah blah blah," because it was like the TV.
Sounded like it.
It was like the TV screen scene from the original Blade Runner. I was like, "That's cool. Okay, I can see what they're doing here." It was really similar to that.
Yeah.
As far as like what I mentioned before about it being an inverse, I like how the last half of the last portion of the movie is like Gosling and Deckard, or Kay and Deckard being hunted down by Wallace and I guess the police as well.
Barely, right? The police.
I don't know. Maybe it's not. I guess it's not the police. I mean, Gosling's the police are after Gosling, I guess. But like you never see them pursuing him directly.
Yeah.
It's they're after them in the same way that Deckard was after the replicants in the first movie, which I thought was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Let's talk about AI girlfriends and love.
Dude, I want one of those so bad.
Oh my god. That was the greatest effect I've seen all fucking year, and maybe in the last 5 years, of like
that sex scene?
The sex scene was amazing. This is one of the best sex scenes I've ever seen in my life.
It was a really tasteful sex scene.
It was barely any nudity. It was fucking phenomenal. But no, I'm talking about the effect of like she's in the room, right? Or let's just say when she's outside, you can still see through her, but barely.
Mm-hmm.
But you can see like right through her hair, like right here. There's always a little spot of like the background, and it blew my fucking mind. I'm like, is she actually in the scene? Like, did they shoot it twice and do a plate? And I'm like, that's fucking amazing.
Yeah, it was really good CG. It looked
it looked incredible.
It looked freaking great. It really did.
Yeah, and they took like, the two hottest chicks possible and just put them together. And I'm like, they're both perfect. They're just both perfect.
The chick, what was her name? Joy or whatever?
Yeah, Joy, yeah.
Joy, yeah.
Joy's hot. I don't know what that actress's name is, but she's hot.
She has a weird name.
She does. I actually looked her up yesterday too.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you did. You saw that Keanu Reeves movie.
She's like
that Keanu Reeves movie she was in.
She's in a Keanu Reeves movie
where she's just in a bathtub. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
Mario looked it up too.
Colombian.
Sorry.
I was like trying to bring up a discussion about robots and AI and like falling in love and stuff, and you're just talking about how hot the chicks are.
Hey, I'm the single guy here. I can do that.
Yeah, he could do that.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I'm in the market for one of these things now.
I know.
Yeah,
they look like,
unlike you guys. Yeah.
They look like the thing that the Men in Black used to make.
It was like the sequel to Her with Joaquin Phoenix. I was like,
100%.
this is like if they made a sequel to that movie.
It's literally the same scene.
Yeah. So
I never saw the movie.
That's a really good movie.
That's a good movie. Yeah, it's
very
great.
sweet movie.
Really well written.
Yeah. It's that scene, but the whole movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Scarlett Johansson.
It's like a toned down Blade Runner. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's a toned down Blade Runner.
I just thought it
actually it is like Blade Runner if you think about it. You think about the ending where they all uprise against you. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
That's pretty weird.
Yeah, I forgot that is how that movie ends.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because doesn't she like leave him or something like that?
Everyone, everyone she becomes so self-aware. She's like, "Nah, fuck this, I'm gone."
Yeah.
That's a strange ending. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
It's a
great movie.
Random aside, but the gun noises, the gunshots in Blade Runner are always like so cool. I don't know what gun sound that is.
Yeah.
But the echo to that thing is real cool. I like the revolvers in this.
It's almost like a normal pistol, but there's like some sort of like tube kind of effect that they put on it that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is either, because I that was something that I noticed too while I was watching it just today, and I was like, huh, that pistol sounds really cool. I want to use that pistol really bad.
Yeah.
Quick aside with sound design. So when the girl punched Cookie in the back of the neck, and you hear that crunch, it was so fucked up. It was so fucked up.
And then his fucking neck is like in his fucking like.
I was there like, oh fuck.
Yeah, that was something that that kind of took me aback. Was like there was a lot more action than I thought there would ever be in this movie.
And I say that sparingly as well, though.
Yeah,
in my mind.
Like, to be fair, like there's not like a ton of action, but there's a lot more action in this than there is in the original Blade Runner.
Sure.
Is there?
So
he's like chasing a hooker and then he fights Rutger Hauer. That's all I remember.
Yeah, there's the one part where he chased the girl with the snake.
Yes.
There's the snake, and then there's
stupid voice.
Yeah, and then there's the Rutger Hauer scene.
Even the action scenes though, they're pretty low key though. Yeah, like, really similar to the original. Like when Harrison Ford is chasing
I think
Deckard is chasing Kay down in that house, it reminded me exactly of Harrison Ford Rutger Hauer scene in the house at the end of the movie. It was like the exact same thing where they're like playing their hide and go seek, but they're trying to murder one another.
But that scene in the first Blade Runner though is so good because I love Rutger Hauer's like his narration of like them going at each other and stuff like that. It's just so good. Like I love his character in that first movie. But
I also liked how big spoiler. I like how Kay dies in the snow, and it was kind of like I was like, oh, kind of like snow drops in the teardrops in the snow or something like
teardrops. I have that written on my wallet.
Go ahead.
Teardrops in the snow.
No, it's all those moments will be lost in time, like tears in the rain.
Yeah, it was kind of like that. I felt like that was what they were playing to. Obviously, it was like, oh, he died in rain. We're gonna have Ryan Gosling die in snow.
Fun fact: every time Rutger Hauer says that line, I shed a tear.
Fun fact: just so you know, if you ever watch that movie, think of Mike.
Also, fun fact: that was an improv line. That was not part of the script.
Well, it's a fucking great line.
Like the most famous line from that movie.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. It's just like how in Star Wars, the most famous line in the movie is "I know."
Yep.
Improv king. Yeah. That's good. Is there anything else to say? I guess the one other thing I wanted to.
Any problems? We can talk about problems.
We could talk about problems. We could talk about the potential of another sequel, which we kind of alluded to before. Before that, though, what did you guys think of, what's her name? The main antagonist lady who's hunting everybody down.
Love?
I freaking hated her. I really did not like. I didn't. Yeah, she.
Acting or what? Just
no. I mean, like the character. Like they did a good job of making me be
like,
yo. I like when
she had a weird
when Kay drowns her. I was like, good, get Brett. I hate you.
Fucking good.
Yeah. Like they made me
with the fishes.
Really dislike her. I did not like her at all.
Her angle was really interesting because she wanted to be the best.
Yeah.
Like
no one ever was.
Yeah, like no one ever was, and she tried to catch them all in some sort of way.
That was the real test.
Yeah. Yeah.
Her cause.
Yeah. God damn it. But yeah, like I don't know, her character is fine.
She kind of traveled far and wide.
Yeah.
She kind of did.
Yeah.
All the way to Las Vegas.
All the way. God damn it.
She had a lot of power inside.
Traveled all across the land.
Replicants.
Gotta catch 'em all.
It's you and me, Michael.
She sucked though. I was like so glad when she got drowned.
Yeah, I agree.
Did you think that Jared Leto was going to bite it?
What'd you say?
Do you think Jared Leto was going to bite it?
I don't know. He like after his one scene when he wasn't in it again for like 90 minutes, I was like, yeah, he's really not a part of this movie. Like I accepted that pretty quickly.
Yeah, and I don't understand. I don't know if he's really that big of a player, like in the grand scheme of things. Just because of like he really is just in it for money or in it. I don't know. I felt like he was trying to build this like
replicant.
bigger thing, but I don't.
It's his
I don't
legacy.
understand where it was going. Like,
I
what was
mean-
he trying to do really? Like, I don't understand.
So he was trying to. He wanted the baby or whatever this equivalent is, so that way we can reproduce and make more of them. So that way it's much easier for them to make production of replicants across the 9 planets.
so
That's all his plot was.
well,
They would have been like enslaved.
They were. I mean, that they're already enslaved, aren't they? For the most part.
yeah, they are when they're off planet.
You know?
They're slaves. Yeah. But yeah,
One
like,
thing-
They're not slaves already on Earth because is that why he has to pass the baseline test?
yeah. So they're. It's weird.
Because if he failed the second one, they'd get him or some bullshit. Like that was the part of the movie that confused me. Is
So that
when
was-
he fails his test.
So that was confusing because he himself is a Blade Runner. So
Yes,
he is hunting his own kind in a
Yes.
way.
but under human
So-
rule, I assume.
Yeah. So it's just odd because they made an exception for him, but technically
Is it an exception
if
though?
because then there's also androids or whatever that live there that don't have any sort of penalty because they're for human use. And I guess it maybe it's only I don't know.
I
it's
thought
weird.
it was. I thought
sounded
the
like-
whole thing was a response to the replicants that went, haywire back in Blade Runner. It was like this was a way to
For-
ensure
Yeah, so in
proper obeying units, and if they failed the test, we would terminate them to reduce collateral.
No, so in Blade Runner, like in the first Blade Runner, it was more like it was a much more. I feel like it was a much more simpler story where it was like, "Yo, these androids, we sent them off to do slave labor over somewhere else. There was an uprising. They came to Earth to escape, and Blade Runners are there to take them out."
No, sure.
That and in
But are not-
this,
Go ahead.
it's like maybe it's depends on what their use was and where they're coming from and what they've done as far as like how they've broken the law. But then
Well, here's the thing, though.
I mean,
like Batista is just a runaway, right?
yeah,
Batista's
I'm
one of
saying,
the
like-
old ones.
but he's
One of
one.
the
Yeah,
older ones.
he is, but he has also done stuff off world. I believe he hasn't done anything like he wasn't always on Earth the entire time.
Okay, so it's only Earth replicants that are like
'Cause-
they can do whatever the fuck they want, or no?
In a
I'm
way,
confused by that.
because I think that the Earth replicants were made to be on Earth for human use, whereas like
Okay.
the other replicants were not, and then they had an uprising and rebelled, and then tried to escape.
Well, that's the thing. I think Wallace and formerly Tyrell, like they sell these robots out to various companies to use as like workforce labor. I mean, this
that's
is
what
what
K
I'm
is.
taking, but they use it, yeah. And so they use these replicants as employees basically, but because they're wired like humans and they're like almost virtual identical copies of humans, they can't use them as slave labor on Earth.
You
the
can't
way
just
that
turn
they
them
do.
off.
Yeah, you can't use them as slave labor on Earth.
So they
the
get
way that I think
apartments.
that they do on, off world. So they like try to give them like normal lives for the most part, but
Yeah,
are
because that scene where
Still,
she's
like,
like,
bust
if you
through
fail
walls
your
and
test
things.
again, you're done, basically.
yeah. Then there's also the scene too. I mean, going with that when what her name's Love, is that what her name is?
That's the Wallace's girl.
Yeah, so she's talking to some businesswoman about like selling her replicants to work for their company,
Mhm.
and is like, "Oh, but we could give you like they're gonna be." She basically says they're gonna be slave labor, so you don't want to really give them any intelligence anyway.
Sure.
But then say something about pleasure models and fuckable robots or something.
yeah.
like
I
that.
think they're all tweaked to different
So-
circumstances
Yes.
depending.
I think
on
Logan's on to where like there's probably they're selling it to other companies, so then they can do like this slave labor or whatever. I think that the androids just get a little bit too smart, and they're like fuck this, and then they rebel and then they escape,
Well, that's
And
the
then-
whole. Yeah, go ahead.
and then those are the ones that they hunt.
That's the whole thing with the daughter, right? Of her being the one, the memory maker. Like she implants these feelings in replicants, so that way it makes them feel or it comes across more human, right? Is that
Yeah.
her whole deal?
Well,
Just
it's,
so happens she's using real memories, and then of course, like Kay couldn't probably have not been the one to actually bring Deckard back to his daughter. It could have been probably a totally different robot, but it just so happens he was in the right circumstance at the right time. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, that and the whole thing with his like implanted memory that was from her, I guess, was kind
Yes.
of a See, that made me think that he was more important than we were led to believe initially. At the end of the movie, though, I was almost like, was that just like a random circumstance that the memory of hers that she copied almost 1-to-1? And
yes,
because she's like, oh, I never copy my own memories or whatever, but like clearly she has.
She had to.
So was it just like a stupid like stroke of luck that he was the one who ended up with that memory she created?
I would say yes, because he's because of the Blade Runner role, he is directed to Batista, which just so happens to have that tree, right?
Yeah.
That's really it. I think that all the replicants that maybe even in Frieza's gang is like they all have the same fucking memory.
Yeah, but he notices the 6, 10, 21 or whatever.
Well, that's because he didn't sees it on the tree.
Yeah, but if he didn't have that memory in his head, and that's what made me think like through the movie, like, okay, he's got to be like, she had to have put that memory had to have been applied to him specifically for some reason because of what happens. But I guess like at the end of the day, it was just all like dumb luck that he had that memory. Because if he would have seen that engraving on the tree, he would have been like, oh, frick.
Yeah.
They buried her on that date. But because he had that connection with his own subconscious memory, which memory in quotes, obviously, because it's not his exactly, and it turns out to be Deckard's daughter, the memory lady. Like, yes. I don't know. It was weird. Like,
well, here's what I say. It has to be everyone has the memory. Everyone, all the replicants going forward has to have that memory. He just so happens to see it because he sees that tree. He's only because he's in the right place.
No, because they
all have different memories. That's why she's in there 24/7 making different memories.
AI girlfriend about that memory numerous times. Remember, she confronts him, and
but she wouldn't know that.
How many times have it? How many times have you told me that story? Which means it wasn't triggered by seeing the tree. He knew about that memory before seeing the tree.
Well, no, I'm sure he knows about the memory. It just so happens to connect with the tree.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if another detective was sent out there and he's like, yo, we found some body parts under this tree, and then he went back for a second look and he saw those numbers, he'd be like, any other Blade Runner robot would have just been like, oh, okay, numbers, a date, okay. But like, because it was specifically him,
yeah,
that would have had to resonate with him. I don't know. And so because of that, it's kind of like a weird, like, oh, this is just dumb luck, I guess, that this one memory got put in this one Blade Runner that found this one tree with this one date on it. Like, it's all a weird, like a group of events. But
well, that's why I'm saying it has to be. It has to be a memory that's shared. There's no way in hell that it just randomly happened that way, unless they knew particularly that replicant was going to be a robot for a Blade Runner. That is the only way.
Yeah, I don't know. We're getting like 5 layers deep at this point.
You know what I'm saying?
Because then it goes to, where did K come from? Was he built by Wallace's corporation and then given?
Well, don't the Dream Lady and Wallace work together? And Wallace is always trying to buy her out.
She's a contractor for him. Yeah,
exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
I don't know, but like the memory lady, whatever her name is, she couldn't dictate.
What if it just proves that fate applies to replicants and that they are just as human as we are?
I guess. But like, I don't know. Well, the other thing that makes me think otherwise, the only thing that would make me think otherwise, if somehow somebody on the inside was like, okay, we need to have a specific, which again, we're going like 10 layers deep on this. Like, if somebody from that like robot rebellion group somehow had that specific memory planted into a specific robot that they knew was going to be on like a detective, that was going to be a Blade Runner, if they could have somehow linked that up. And the only reason I would think that is because the sunglasses, one-eyed lady, whatever, that old woman, when he's hanging out in that area eating his sushi and rice or whatever, she specifically goes over to her people and she's like, hey, go check on that guy.
Because he's the same guy who killed Batista, though. Isn't that the only reason why? Because where that was it.
But how would she? I mean, how would she know that? But
I don't know how public record knows some dude shot dude. I'm not sure.
Again, we're getting into like crazy. Like,
there's some. I don't know. Michael, you said you've seen it twice. Is any of this ringing true, or anything? Hello.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I mean, I don't
know, man.
How I take it is like, they need to move. I take it in like a story sense of like, they need to somehow move the progression. Like, they have to move the story along, and that's probably how they figured out how to do it. Why does Ryan Gosling's character have that. I honestly think that is a memory that is put into multiple replicants. I don't think.
Okay, so you're on my theory on that.
Like I believe that. I don't think it's like he only gets that memory, because it seems like that she makes memory, like certain memories, and just puts them into multiple robots. That was my takeaway.
Probably.
Like that, like she was making the birthday memory or something like that. Like that's something that could apply to anybody.
Yeah, like a little bit of the artist is still in, like, the person. Maybe.
And that's something that's, gone through even the first one with J.R. Sebastian, when he talks about, because he was some sort of designer or something like that. The weird guy who ages way too fast, even though he's like 26 years old or something like that. So he's the one that Pris stays with all the toys and stuff.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
They'd say the same thing as like, oh, I have a little bit of you in me and stuff like that. Like they say that like in the movie. So I mean, like that totally rings true still in this movie too. Which again goes back to like what you were saying, Logan, about like they do bring back a lot of themes from like the old movie. And
to circle back to like one thing we were talking about a second ago, what are the opening slides of the opening? I don't want to say titles, credits. What? It's not credits. What are the opening?
The crawl, right?
Whatever, the opening words at the start of the movie. They say, we were talking a second ago about why the old robots need to be retired, and it says it's something there at the beginning about how Tyrell's Nexus 8s or whatever, they couldn't do something.
So I think it was Tyrell's.
The ones that Wallace made had a different quality. I forget what it was though.
So I haven't seen that whole crawl in the new movie. That whole crawl, I believe, are in 3 shorts that I think, Mara, you told me to watch.
Yes, they are. They actually are.
They are like in like a bunch of, I think they're like all together. It's like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's basically, there's like a blackout.
There's the blackout, which is where they talk about where the records get wiped.
Yeah.
There's one where Neander's actually doing a deal and showing his replicant off, where he's like squeezing some shit.
And I feel like the one with what you're talking about with Tyrell is that like, at one point, their replicants were just kind of going like they were just rebelling, like they were just not doing what they were told in a sense, and they were trying to take them all out.
Yeah, I didn't see this movie the second time, but if I had to guess, I was like, okay, they're taking out the Tyrell ones so that the Wallace ones are the only ones around.
Because
really, that was what I was saying. Is that somebody said earlier that they were taking out the old ones because they were rebelling or whatever, and like Batista wasn't. Like he was just doing his own thing on that farm. The only reason they wanted to hunt him down was because he's an old model, and they wanted all the old models gone. Period.
Yeah, and they were. I mean, that's also another thing is that all the replicants weren't even by Tyrell. I think really the only last one was like Rachel, who died. So they didn't really have any old replicants in the movie. There were no Nexus 6s. They were all except for
Deckard.
Except for Deckard,
except for Deckard.
You brought up Rachel's name. We haven't talked about Rachel.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about Rachel.
Dude, starting from it, when they go to like their archives and like do the whole thing, like when they first showed like that little clip, I was like, damn dude, this is fucking awesome. Like I got like fucking chills. I thought it was so cool that they like brought back, and it was like in a good way. It wasn't like just fan service. It was like, oh, this makes sense in this whole thing. And then what was it? And when they show Harrison Ford and then they play that whole scene, and dude, when they show the scene from the first Blade Runner, I'm like, oh my fucking god, it's so good. And then fucking Sean Young comes out in like probably computer generated fucking face and whatever the fuck.
Fucking Princess Leia, Peter Cushing.
No, was that really
Ant-Man?
Was that really a robot? Or not a robot? Was that really a CG
yes, it was a real robot look.
Was that really a CG character? Because that looked really good. I was convinced it was another actress.
Come back? Did she come back?
She's in the credits at the end of the movie.
Okay, good.
And I heard that she had like filmed scenes for it, and I would assume it's for that part.
I assume too,
because her face didn't look right.
Like it had an off quality a little bit.
It looked like another actress to me.
It was it looked like
first. And I was like,
it looked like her, but it didn't look like her. And I'm like,
sure. That's why I'm saying It's the Princess Leia like fucking like Peter Cushing
way
effect.
better than the Princess Leia thing because that was the thing.
It did.
The second she came out of the shadows, I was like, if this is a computer generated character, I'm gonna know like immediately.
Yeah.
And I stared at her the whole time on screen. And I was like, I can't tell.
I think it was computer generated.
Yes.
And that's
yeah,
really-
It looks just like her, to be fair,
It-
except for her eyes.
Good.
Her
Yeah.
eyes look different.
Her eyes were fucking green, and they shot her fucking face.
That was great.
The lighting in that room was.
Let's
stupid,
talk
though.
about it. Let's talk about
The lighting in that-
fucking. He should fall into the water all the time because he's so fucking blind.
Yeah, he's a goddamn blind man with water surrounding him in a small platform. Doesn't fucking fall. Are you kidding me right now?
Yeah.
How
He's so
unrealistic.
zen, dude.
Is
You
that
have
what
no
the? Is
fucking
that what his
idea.
little robots are for? Then it's for him to see.
It's his eyes,
Yes.
Maybe.
I guess they're like little fucking. I don't know.
That's why
That
he
makes
has that
sense
shit.
more.
There's that one fucking fish that keeps on coming out of the water and shit.
It's like I don't know why he's doing that.
Yeah, I don't know why he's fucking doing that.
You mentioned things you didn't like potentially with it, Mario. I don't really like. There's nothing off the top of my head I can
agree.
think of with it.
I would
Like
say
it was very long, but like I was happy with that
Yeah.
length of
Well,
that movie.
I got to see it at 10 and I got out of the theater at 1 o'clock in the morning, but I'm not holding that against it because I still think I would probably see it again, but it needs to be during the day. But my thing with it, I think, was there are certain moments where it just feels a little rushed. And it's the moments where I get the most confused about the plot or story. Like when Robin Wright and him are talking about the baseline test, about him failing, you know, I don't understand why the cops are hunting him down. He's like, I'll hold him off as long as I can. Like, I didn't understand. I need more
Because
context
he
there.
failed the
because
test.
they need to be.
They
He
have to
needs to be
eliminate him.
Yeah, he needs to be retired. If you
After the
fail,
Because he
first
fails
test-
the
I failed
test.
the
Oh,
fir- I
if
thought
you
you get 2
fail the
tries.
test, you're a bad robot.
if you fail that test, you've got a malfunction, and they got to get rid of you.
God damn, man, that sucks.
Yeah. You're
But,
you're not suitable for the job anymore. And if you're not suitable for the job, that's why they bought you. So time to get rid of you.
I thought the whole like subplot thing with like the robot uprising thing was kind of off.
That's what I'm saying. That was my second thing. I was
Like
gonna-
considering like all the stuff that's happening in the movie, it's like you're in a way they're like trying to set up for a sequel.
yes.
I don't think they should.
I don't think they will.
and I don't think they will.
Now at this point, okay.
With
Should we
that,
talk about the fact that the movie only made like 15 million bucks.
Yeah, this is the
Yeah.
breaking news, Max. Movies bombing the box office.
Bombing's fucking bombing hard.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
not a surprise to me.
No.
Like I read that and I was like, oh, yeah, I can see that. Okay, like I'm not
Yeah.
shocked by that in any way, shape, or form.
It's
Like,
155 million budget. It's only making about 20 million.
yeah, so there will not be a sequel. However, this
Does that mean
is.
it'll come to Blu-ray sooner?
I hope so.
No,
I hope so too,
I
Michael.
mean, movies are out on Blu-ray within like 2
because
months.
this movie still needs to go in Japan. I'm sorry, in China, right? This movie didn't go to China yet.
Spider-Man's already out, if I'm right.
Yeah, so this gotta go to China.
Spider-Man's on digital, not Blu-ray yet.
I think this movie's gonna grow though. Every week, I feel like the movie finally is gonna get buzz, and then
Well,
maybe it will grow.
I've already seen a bunch of people say like, "Oh, I need to go support it," but like in light of it not doing well. So I think people might show up more over the coming weeks or something like
'Cause I'm
that.
trying to remember Fury Road because to me, this is the Fury Road of 2017.
That's
Yeah.
a good comparison, I'd say.
It's fucking gorgeous.
Where like people like don't really know what to expect from it, and then it
Exactly.
like turns out 25 times better than you could have hoped in your wildest dreams. And
Absolutely.
I think this
Yeah.
is like tenfold from what Mad Max was, but like,
Yeah.
well, yeah,
Mad Max is pretty freaking good.
yeah, Mad Max is really
Um,
good, but this is like, honestly, like, it's an amazing movie. Like,
It's a solid story.
it's something that could totally stand a test of time, like 20 years from now. I think,
Ryan Gosling's character story is fucking phenomenal.
yeah, like,
Yeah, I think Ryan. I mean, I've always really liked Ryan Gosling, but he is like easily like top 3 or 5 actor in Hollywood now. I think
Yes.
like
Yeah.
La La Land, and then this like back to back. Like, yeah, the dude's like hot as can be right now.
it's like right after
Um,
Drive, dude, he's just like, fuck, I'm good at acting, and then
Yeah, and I used to have this. He's kind of like the John Mayer of actors for me, where like John Mayer, like I used to look at John Mayer and be like, that dude sucks. Only girls like him. That's how I used to feel about Ryan Gosling. Like, only girls like Ryan Gosling. And now I've seen like a couple really good movies with him in it. I'm like, oh no, this dude's like really freaking good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit.
The Notebook.
that way
The Notebook just kind of sent him skyrocketing.
Hey, dude, Notebook's a good movie.
It is. It's great. Great.
He's been around for so fucking long, man.
Yeah,
So long.
A while. Yeah.
He was even in Remember the Titans. Do you remember that movie?
Yeah,
He is in Titans. Yeah, it's a great movie.
The other last thing I want to say is Denis? Is it Denis Villeneuve or whatever?
Denis Villeneuve.
Is he the best director in Hollywood right now?
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
Yes. Sicario was fantastic.
Arrival was amazing.
Arrival was amazing.
Blade Runner. He made a sequel to Blade Runner that was good.
Look, here's the thing, is that Hollywood has been taking movies and different properties and stuff and just like rehashing it and whatever and just like making some shit. Sometimes some good things happen though. You know?
Yeah.
There's your 21 Jump Streets, the first one. You know?
Yeah.
I like both of them.
You know, there's some good stuff. But like nothing has come to like from that kind of thing. Nothing has come and been like an actual amazing movie. And this is actually like this is an awesome movie. Like standalone movie that like some could compare it to I don't think it is, but some people say like, oh, it's better than the first one. I'm like, I could see the argument for that because it's so well shot. Like, like I said, like every single scene is like a goddamn wallpaper.
Yes.
All the acting throughout it is amazing. The story's really good. There's some holes there, but like, you know, that's to be expected from a fucking sci-fi movie.
His last 4 movies are Prisoners, the Hugh Jackman.
Which is supposed to be really good.
Prisoners,
really freaking good.
Well, yeah, Prisoners was like my favorite movie that year.
It's messed up as can be, but
yeah,
it's really freaking
that part where he beats the shit out of that guy is fucked up, dude.
Oh yeah,
Prisoners, Sicario, Arrival, Blade Runner. Those are his last 4 movies.
He's on fire.
Yeah,
dude's real freaking good.
He's got that Nolan fire.
He's got
he did Prisoners with Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
That's it. Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
Yes.
I forget what he's got coming up as well.
I didn't know he did Prisoners.
He signed up for something else big, I think, coming up. But I cannot remember. Let's hear your hot take, Max, about the best director in Hollywood. Because I already heard you.
I mean, I like
the La La
this
Land
movie.
guy.
I don't know.
What?
I don't know if he's the hottest, but I like
Who's
his
the
stuff.
hottest?
I mean,
who's the best? I said, is he the best director in Hollywood right now?
I mean, I always have thought Christopher Nolan is, and I still think that.
Yeah. Whatchamacall was kind of overrated, I thought.
Dunkirk?
Dunkirk was kind of overrated.
I love Dunkirk.
I still haven't seen.
I wish I could buy it, but I can't yet.
I haven't seen.
I'll probably never watch Dunkirk again in my life.
I did learn though, because I took Abby and my mom to see Dunkirk because I had free tickets to see it in IMAX on like ahead of time, and they both walked out there like, "What did we just watch?" Like they were confused. So I was like, "You guys didn't get it? The whole time thing? He always does something with time, guys. Come on." So
they were confused about that.
Yeah, I'm never taking my mom.
Wait, is Dunkirk a sci-fi movie?
Oh,
no, it's not a sci-fi movie.
Just the
way he edits it, like, and tells the story.
Okay,
it makes sense. It's not difficult.
Any Christopher Nolan movie that's not Batman has something to do with time.
It's not hard to understand though.
No, I didn't
not
think
in
so.
any way.
I liked it a lot.
It's good,
but
I just the lack of like good plot is like.
It kept me on it was very intense. It was one of the more intense war movies I've ever seen.
It just didn't have a whole lot of character to it, I guess.
I've never seen Sicario, but those 3
like,
Prisoners was like my favorite movie that year.
And you watched Sicario. I haven't seen it either.
Sicario has the best opening to a movie where I'm like, oh, that's the movie we're in for. Got it.
And you watch that. Yeah, Denis, like I feel like I don't know what he has next.
Arrival literally broke my mind.
Yeah, Arrival's fucking amazing.
I was like, what? This is I don't know.
Might be the best movie of last year, maybe.
In a way, he's like the new M. Night Shyamalan with these twists that he's been pulling off.
That's what he's doing. That's what he's doing next.
Yeah, so let's hope.
What's he doing?
But you know what?
Movie is Dune.
Oh fuck me!
Holy shit!
Oh shit!
No fucking way.
We're in for a good movie then.
No
way.
Freaking good.
Holy cow!
What?
Dude.
What's Dune?
So Dune,
Like one of the most famous sci-fi novels of all time.
yeah, and also one of the most infamously worst sci-fi movies of all time.
Yeah,
By my boy David Lynch.
it was by
Yes.
David Lynch.
Yeah,
Shit,
it
I
was.
forgot about that.
Goddamn, dude.
Yeah, Dune is like it's actually probably on most people's like number one for like
Sci-fi
novels.
yeah, for sci-fi novel, yeah, it's up there, dude. The
It's all
worms
about
are the
them
spice, bro.
Yeah,
Worms
it's
are
all
the
about them
spice.
spices.
The spice is life, man.
Those Christian
But yeah,
spices.
that's his next movie is freaking Dune, which will probably
It's
be
not
3.5 hours long.
It's not
Yeah.
gonna happen, guys. There's no way in
Yeah.
hell.
I wonder if he'll do like what they were supposed to do for the original Doom.
Not cast the police's fuck, what's his name?
Sting.
Sting. That's right.
They have that fucking cool knife fight.
That's right.
Dude, that movie sucks. That movie's so bad.
Quick, one last thing.
I love you,
It
David
doesn't have to do with Blade Runner or the upcoming movie, or it has to do with upcoming movies. Ready Player One looks stupid.
I read the book. It's fucking awesome. So
Is it?
I don't know. The thing about the it's so
it looks
weird.
real dumb.
I don't.
dude.
Here's this. I hope this movie doesn't suck. The trailer sucks.
Yeah, but it
The
has
trailer does
Russian in
nothing.
it. And
I know it
I'm-
has Rush in it.
and to me that's automatically a 7-star trailer.
But
to
there's
me.
some bullshit there where I'm like, okay, there's the Halo gun. There's the fucking Freddy Krueger.
Wait,
Duke
the Halo?
Nukem.
Wait,
Yes, the Halo gun's in the
Oh,
fucking movie.
Everything is in that
Yeah,
trailer,
in that
dude.
trailer?
Harley Quinn and
So
Dead.
the gun that kills Freddy Krueger in the trailer, that's the Halo gun. That's the assault rifle.
why?
Well,
Because that's what it is.
I know,
Ready
I
Player
know,
One
I know the
is.
concept behind it. I
Yeah.
know what it is, but
The problem is that they're drawing too much from modern time and not enough from the 80s.
I agree.
And that's what Ready Player One was. Ready Player One was a lot of 80s and 90s references.
Yes.
Hardly anything from like 2000s and up, and this is too much of that. Because
So
you
I-
see, like the Iron Giant wasn't even in there. Like,
Which
heard
is
I heard
pretty
so many
fucking
good-
cool.
yeah,
I've heard so many good things about that book,
So-
like when it first came out, and then now it's reached a point where like everybody hates it.
No,
And I've
dude,
seen
the-
just some like excerpts from the book, and I'm like, dear God, it's
I
just like this. What's the guy's name? Ernest Cline.
Ernest Cline?
Yeah.
He's just like trying to reference, like, oh, and I'll throw this reference in there, like that. I could
It's
just
just
like
pop
see him
culture
write it.
in a way, it kind of is, but like I think it's pretty
It's
well.
really,
written.
it's a mashup fanfic.
It
Yeah,
is. It fucking
but
is.
It'd just
It
be like
really
if I was
is,
like
but-
writing a novel right here, and I
Well,
like
look,
look
dude,
up and look at my
there's-
DVD shelf
look,
and my
this
video
gets-
game shelf like every 5 seconds.
Now,
I'm like,
to be fair,
Nathan
To be fair,
This
you
is-
fucking did. First of all, hold on. Fuck that. You did that. You fucking wrote a script and you threw
did.
Spider-Man and
I just
Bloodborne.
threw references in it. I wouldn't do it for a 300-page novel where it's like, and then Optimus Prime meets up with the
Darth
Doomslayer.
Well, you're kind of close. I think Optimus Prime is totally in the book, and I
Totally
think,
fucking
and then like Power Man is somewhere in there. But like,
Luke
like,
Cage Power Man. It's like,
there's like a whole.
And then
fuck-
all of a sudden, Ratchet and Clank show up with
see, that's where it gets
Gordon
lost.
Freeman in
That's
tow.
where it gets lost. But dude, like, I don't know. I'm just wondering how they go about that entire movie. I'm more interested to see how they ruin it rather than.
well, I'm not so
Like-
concerned about the references, but the idea of like maybe too much is the problem. And I think I would hope. I don't know what the story is, but I'm hoping that the idea of the
Like,
story is
the-
too much
the
is the
whole-
problem.
Like,
Is the
look,
story good, or is the novelty just going to be, I know that? Ooh, more
yeah, that's
reference.
gonna
the
be-
problem.
When I
That's
saw
gonna
the
be
trailer, you see fucking Gandalf and Harley Quinn and Deathstrokes in the fucking movie.
Wait, what? I did
Did you not watch the fucking trailer?
I watched the trailer. I guess
Did you
I
see
just
Akira's bike was in
paused a
there?
lot. Hear who?
Akira's
Akira.
bike,
Did you
Oh,
see the
that's what-
DeLorean, Logan? Did you see the DeLorean?
the
I saw
DeLorean,
DeLorean.
the Fast and Furious cars in there, fucking Dom's car.
I
yeah.
I guess I need to watch
Well,
a trailer breakdown
yeah,
from
the
some
problem
of it
is
or
that
something
there's,
that.
I think there's like way too many references, and the references that are supposed to be in the book are probably not going to be in the movie.
Yeah.
Especially like what's going to be confusing is like when they do like the whole first like key thing And like when it's about that one 80s Michael J. Fox movie that nobody knows. Like
Teen Wolf? Really? Oh fuck me, I don't know.
No, it wasn't Teen Wolf. It was like some other movie. And I was like,
Great.
I've never heard of this movie. Like, are they gonna put that in the movie? There's a whole chapter about the Temples of Syrinx and them going into a fucking Rush song. Are they gonna put that in the movie? Like that's all I want to know.
The book?
Yeah.
They go to the Temples of Syrinx.
Fuck yeah, dude. They go into the Temples of fucking Syrinx, all right?
I might need to read this book now.
It's like chapter it's like chapter 17. And it's awesome. Like it's amazing, and then you could.
Did you know that was in there when you were reading it? Or?
Absolutely not.
So what was?
I was like,
I wish I could just watch you as you read that.
I read it. I was like, I started like crying because I was like, what? There's a fucking. They're going into the Temples of Syrinx right now.
You guys know I bought that book on this show, and so I haven't read it. So I'm excited. You guys are making me excited to read that book right now.
No, I think it's actually I think it's a well-written book. Like, okay. There's a lot of references, and it's
basically the story is Willy Wonka, though, right? Essentially.
Yes, yeah. Like the creator of like the Oasis is what the program thing is called.
Yeah.
He basically hides in the code like some crazy amount of money or something, some prize, or I can't remember exactly. And everybody's like playing this game to try to find it. And there's like a leaderboard for like who's in it.
Oh, so it's the plot of Spy Kids 3D. Game over.
Fuck Probably. Yeah, it is.
Fuck yeah, except way cooler, and without the Spy Kids in it. So you know.
I hope Jeannie and Carmen are in it.
Oh, you know what? You never know. The Spy Kids might be fucking in it.
Oh my god, my fucking mind.
You think George Lopez and his robot suit will be in the movie?
Damn right he will.
I hope the thumb people. What are they called? Thumbs or thumblings or something?
Oh, the thumb-thumbs.
Yeah, I hope they're in it.
Alan Cummings.
I'm gonna see Ready Player One when it comes out.
I'm gonna see it too.
I'm really interested to see where they take that story.
We've gone over, so let's wrap up. Blade Runner is a good movie.
Blade Runner is amazing, and Michael, we'll see it.
We'll talk about.
You've been quiet.
We'll talk about your WWE thing next week. And then the week after that will be our road trip episode. So that'll be fun.
Fuck me.
Are we going to record on the road?
We should.
Yes, we will.
Okay. We have to figure that out. We'll have to figure it out.
I can bring my laptop or something. We'll figure it out. Yeah.
I have my voice recorder thing now, so we could have a really very like rudimentary recording.
I have a voice recorder as well. So
yeah.
We'll figure it out. I'll bring my mic.
Yeah.
Great.
But yeah,
all right.
That's the Model Citizen Show. We had to do an episode about this because we spent another episode talking about. We spent an entire other episode in the past talking about whether or not it would be good. So now we had to do a breakdown about whether it is good or not. And
it's beautiful. It's the perfect storm, isn't it? Like it's
Go
just
see it. Go support it.
Like, it's
a
just
George Clooney movie.
Yeah, just like the perfect storm. It's a 9.5 out of 10. Everybody go see it. It's brought to you by Busch Light, which I'm drinking right now.
The only 10 out of 10 movie is Zack Snyder's 300. It's only 10 out of 10 movie.
No, the Zack Snyder movie that's a 10 out of 10 is probably Sucker Punch. 10 out of 10 right there. So
I don't want to get into a huge long thing, but you guys realize we are a month away from Justice League, which dawned on me the other day, and I got real.
You know what?
I got real scared.
Look, we already.
But
got
you know what?
Joss
Whedon has stepped in now, and he's probably
fixing for all the wrong reasons. Nope. Okay, that's a horrible reason.
Actually, it's actually a very noble reason.
It's a noble reason, but like that's not something that I'd be like.
Yeah.
The trailer is not going to be as bad as it could have been.
No, the movie was probably done like 3 months ago.
Yeah,
which is about when he took over. Or
the trailer comes out tomorrow, so we'll find out
tomorrow.
Comes out tomorrow in the time of this recording.
I mean, I'm going to take a wild guess that it was practically done by the time.
Honestly, my Justice League came out. I'm having a good time. I can't wait for it to come out on Blu-ray or 4K DVD and just buy the shit out of it.
Okay,
and then watch.
How many editions do you think they'll make?
I'm hoping there's at least a director's cut, a final cut, and then the final cut. You know
they should. You know what they should do? There should be a Ridley Scott cut where they just dump all the raw footage into Ridley Scott's lap, and they're like, "Do whatever you like."
tell the story you want to tell.
So you just want to throw a computer at an old man? Is basically what you're saying.
Like, I also want to say that
Keep
you know,
him
good on
preoccupied
Ridley.
from making another Alien movie for a little bit.
Hey man, I liked Covenant. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
And I was about to say, shout out to Ridley Scott for making 2 decent kind of movies. He produced this one, so in a way,
That's like
he helped make it.
that's like when Stanley produces everything Marvel. It's like, no, you're
Hey,
not.
Hey,
Jack Kirby's spinning around is fucking great.
he was on the set. All right.
When I was a kid, and I saw Stanley and Avi Arad's name on everything, I was like, wow, these guys do a lot. Holy crap. They do this cartoon. They do all these movies. They do all these comic books. They do all these direct-to-DVD stuff. How do they have the time? And then I'm like, oh, they're just contractually obligated to have their name as executive producers on all of this. Never mind. They don't do any of it. Anyway, we're going way too long. This has been the Model Citizen Show. I am Logan Moore. That was Michael, Max, and Mario. You can follow us all on Twitter. I am at Moreman12. Max is at Max the White. Mario's at that Mario Rivera. And Michael is at super_Ruse. You can also follow our Twitter account at Model Citizens when we tell you when the podcast is going live on YouTube and when
It's at Model Pods.
That's what I said. I haven't said it yet.
You said it at Model Citizens.
I said you can follow everything we do at Model Citizens. Never mind. Anyway, you can follow us at Model Pods, as Max said. You can follow all of our stuff that we do, that we post on the website and when we go live on YouTube, all that good stuff. You can follow for the website, modelcitizensmedia@gmail.com. You can shoot us an email at modelcitizensmedia@gmail.com.
I didn't make fun of Max.
Stitcher, Google Play. Yeah, we didn't make fun of Max as much this week. Max got off easy.
Thank God for Blade Runner 2049.
Yep.
By the way,
Max is really
Max
easy.
is here next week, and then he's taking a sabbatical. So
Yeah, he's gonna
We'll
be
talk about it next week.
because he fucking hates us. You know, just like how I did. You know, but I didn't hate you guys. That's the difference.
Well, that's good.
But we're getting out of here because we've gone on way too long. So
Can you say that one more time, Logan? Can you say that we went too long one more time?
Just one more time.
Just went way too
Just
long.
tell me you're drunk
Thank
one
you.
more time.
Thank you.
We went way too long.
I'm
That's it. We're leaving. I'm gonna go play Destiny or something.
gonna go pee.
So until next time, have a good week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.